I listened to a couple of different podcasts just to kind of get the vibe of what people in our industry think. And I listen to some people I think that have a pretty good opinion. And one of the things that kind of came, and two of the guys were good hands and have been around a while. So they were, talking. All three of the guys actually that I listened to are good hands. And they're just basically saying how somebody like Jay Uso right now, who's kind of like the storyline wise, he's kind of down and out. He's questioning himself. He's jumping, down the throat of the announce girl backstage, and he's kind of like in the crossroads of his run of his career. And one of the things is the people have been saying that he blows up. And we talked about this months and months and months ago, how if you continue to do the yeet from the fucking top of an arena through the crowd,
For
and
20
then,
minutes. Yeah.
yes, and then you're expected to go another 20 after that at the fucking at main event at main event caliber work. It's just, and it's not like you would. What are you gonna do? You just like, even if you just said, I'm going to eat 15 minutes a day, you wouldn't give it the same yeet that you give in front of 12,000 people.
Correct.
It's the same as when people say they just need more ring time. Well, yeah, the people they should be forced to go to the performance center. When I came back from my quad injury, they sent me down to Ohio Valley, and with nobody, I mean, there's guys that are breaking in, but there's no crowd. So there's like, as soon as you blow up, you stop because you're just I'm testing my wheel. I'm not down there trying to get in a conditioning shape. I'm just trying to fucking see if I can fucking motor, do my moves, if I can hit the ropes. Like there's nothing I can do at home that's going to mimic me running the ropes in a canvas ring.
Mm.
The ring, the mat gives, the canvas fucking slides, the ropes. So all that shit you've got to do in a ring. And there's nothing you can do at home to get you in wrestling shape except wrestling. I had a guy ask me one time, he goes, "What did you do all those years on the road for cardio?" I said, besides work fucking 20 minutes every night?
Mm-hmm.
I said,
Yeah.
I said, I never blew up. I said, because number one, I mean, I've been an athlete my whole life. I've got a pretty good cardiovascular system, but I mean, you push yourself.
Someone like Warrior. You remember that entrance?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Well, why didn't you ask why his matches were 4 minutes long?
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Ah.
when you, I like when Bill, Bill would go short, but Bill put so much into, like, he amped himself up to such a point before he came even out of his dressing room. He'd bang his head and fucking bust it open. He concussed himself that one time, and to get like that, to get that jacked up, and then do your, I couldn't even imagine the amount of ATP your body would be burning just walking to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas me and Scott, it was like, there was no difference of walking down to the ring than it was walking out of the strip club at 4 a.m.
Right.
It was just,
Strolling.
yeah, just we knew what we were doing, and that was always the beauty of being in a tag match with Scott was, if one of us didn't feel like doing it, the other one usually would pick up the slack. Scott always wanted to work. Like Scott loved it. I mean, Scott never took a night off.
But didn't you still have like the adrenaline of walking out in front of 20,000 people
Oh
and
yeah,
just the,
that's
like it's still cooking
yeah, it's
in
still
you.
great.
But I'm saying it's still, you could still be gasping for air just from the excitement of it, right?
Uh, you know,
Or do you just get desensitized to it?
I think you do because I remember that it took a lot of years, and I remember sometimes, man, there'd be like a 30-gallon like a trash can back by gorilla position, and you'd be next. There was no way you could walk back to the locker room. You just take that nervous piss right in that fucking waste can.
So was that a thing? Always
It
needed the.
was for me. There was a lot of
Oh,
like I remember Vader would fucking like almost dry heave. Like he'd be by that trash can dry heaving before he went out. Like each guy had their own thing. I think he was dry
from
heaving
nerves,
because he was
from from.
he was dry heaving because he was smelling my piss. But
Listen, I don't
yeah,
think Vader's in a position to complain about smell to anybody
no,
else. But yeah, I mean that's a thing. The entrance, and I think this is one of those many things that, unless you're talking to a wrestler, someone who's from the outside world, you look at the work and you're looking for somebody blowing up in the work, but the entrance and anything you do before that in the to warm up in the locker room, squats or anything like that, it all gets factored. It's an aggregate
yeah.
buildup
And I
of
would
your
always
expending energy.
like later in my career, I had so many injuries. I remember at TNA, like me and Scotty Steiner would dress in this little. It was like a small theater room for like a screening room at Universal that maybe had, I mean, maybe 40 seats in the screening room, but it had like an area down at the bottom next to the screen where we could both. There was room for us to like stretch out and do bands and Scotty and I would start like about 4 o'clock would be like the first like get down and move like start to roll a fucking roller across your lower back and maybe your hamstrings and like start the process. Then maybe do
Yeah.
some band work and start working your shoulders. And then 6 o'clock was the
Band
second.
work being those the metal
Yeah, yeah.
bands.
No,
Okay.
the just sealed out like the the rubber the tubing
Okay.
with the handles. Just like do some band work, and then 6 o'clock like do like a different version of it, and then as the taping got closer, then it was like put your gear on. And I basically had like my knee was so bad that I couldn't even function without this. I mean, it was a monster of a fucking knee brace. It
Right.
was a derotation brace that kept everything together. And and I'd warm up, and then right before I walked across to go to like the gorilla position, which was I don't know 50 yards. I would take my pants down and re-snug my knee brace one last time before
Right.
I got in the ring, and it was like a ritual. And I would always do 12 Hindu squats, and on the 12th one, I would stay down in a catcher's position and rock back and forth for my groin. I'd say the Lord's Prayer. I'd ask him to protect me when I went out there, and then
Who gave you the physical ritual? Who
I
was that part of your training, or just something you
no,
knew
it's
from
just some.
basketball?
It was my own thing that I did to like there was a certain time of the day you taped your wrists.
Right.
Like it was like a ritual that you did, and then if something happened and that ritual got thrown off, then you were like, oh, I'm going to break my neck tonight. This is it. Like.
Right, because you didn't get in
I
that
didn't get
extra Hindu
yeah.
squat where
Yeah,
you stayed in the
exactly.
catcher's
And it'd be
position.
one of those things where they'd be go, go. I'd be like, fuck man,
You,
13, 9, 10, 11, 12. Our Father who art in heaven. Like, no, motherfucker, I'm doing my shit. So
epic, epic.